Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. So one of the main purposes of this channel is to make connections between emerging psychological research and literature and the lessons that we have in Islam from the Quran and the Sunnah. And so one of these critical lessons that I want to highlight in this short video is this idea of downward social comparisons and how they are better for our overall well-being. So there was this study done a while ago by Medvec and colleagues. It was published in 1995, so it's been well established for some time now. And what they found is in the Olympic Games, so elite levels of performance, bronze medal winners are consistently happier after they win as well as on the podium compared to silver medalists, which rationally that doesn't make sense. If you won the silver medal in the Olympics, you outperformed the bronze medal. You receive more endorsements. You might get a better payoff from your country. By all metrics, you've done better, and yet they're consistently less happy. And one of the things that follow-up research found is this is related to this concept of upward and downward social comparisons. Upward social comparisons essentially being wherever I am, whatever my situation is, I'm looking up. I'm looking to those who have a bit more. And in this case, the silver medalist is looking up and thinking, yeah, I have this silver medal, but I was this close to the gold medal. I was so close. And that relative comparison hurts their overall well-being. The bronze medalist is not doing an upward social comparison. That person is doing what we call a downward social comparison. So they're on the podium and they're looking down at the person who didn't even medal, right? So the bronze medalist thinks, I made it to the podium. How fortunate am I that I made it while the next person didn't even get a medal. And they're not even thinking about the fact that they missed out on the silver and the gold. It's a subtle difference, but it makes a robust and consistent difference to overall well-being. Now here's the connection I want to make. Imam Muslim in his Sahih narrates that Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu reported that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, look at those below you and do not look at those above you, lest you belittle the favors of Allah Azza wa Jal. Right? Look at those below you and do not look at those above you, lest you should belittle the favors that Allah has given you. It's exactly what these researchers have found. And it's such a consistent finding across all follow-up research. So in the health domain, there was research done by Emmons and McCullough. This was published in 2003. And what they found was when people are given an intervention, when they're struggling or suffering, when they're given an intervention to just document the things that they are grateful for, the things that they are happening that are positive in their life, regardless of their struggle, psychological outcomes like determination, attention to focus, enthusiasm, energy, vigor, as well as motivation and actual energy significantly increase. By significantly increase, I don't mean you notice it in a few people. I mean across many people. When you run the statistical analyses, you see significant differences, which mean the effect is not by chance. That's what I mean in these videos when I say statistically significant. And this is related to other research done by Shelley and Lobel. This was in 1989. This was published. They looked at cancer patients, right? So we're talking a severe level of suffering. And what they found was those who engaged in what they called downward social comparisons compared to those who were worse off coped better with their illness and had better self-esteem. So those people, they have cancer, right? So they're already on the extreme in terms of suffering, but they look down towards people who actually had like more severe forms of cancer, less prospects for survival, who were suffering more, and just paying attention to those people who were less well off made them cope better and have better self-esteem while they were hospitalized with their illnesses. And those who did the opposite, they did the upward social comparison. So, that person doesn't have cancer and I do. That person's getting discharged from the hospital and I'm not. They ended up not only suffering more physically, but they reported significantly more levels of depression. Right? So whether you're looking at the Olympics, cancer, or any other aspect of life, we find consistently within the psychological literature, don't engage in upward social comparisons. Follow the advice of the Prophet ﷺ. Look at those who are below you and do not look at those who are above you, lest you belittle the favors of Allah. And practically speaking, I think we can all attest to this when we're walking around, when we're living our day-to-day life, when we look at people who have a better home, they have more money, they have a better car, they have better clothing, especially in this modern world of social media where everything is highlights. Everyone is just posting all of the things that they have in their life that others don't. It has a very detrimental effect on people. And we're finding this literature in emerging in social media exposure now. Whereas if you just take a moment to, no matter where you are, no matter if you're sitting in Canada or Europe or Pakistan or Kenya, and you just think about the fact that millions and maybe billions of people on this earth have it more difficult than you, and those people are struggling and persevering with a lot less. Just taking a moment to remind yourself of that, applying the advice of the Prophet ﷺ will do an incredible amount for you. It's a subtle thing, it's a small thing, but I assure you that it will make a big impact, inshallah, bi'idhnillah. And so this is one of many practical videos that I'm going to do to try to link psychological literature to the Hadith and the Quranic verses, teaching us about resilience and perseverance. May Allah accept from all of us. Subhanallahi wa bihamdi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Ameen.